My days used to be filled with silent activities. I would just be trying to get done everything that had to be done. And all of these things used to be done in silence. When Danny was diagnosed with autism at 18 months old, her language was that of a 3-month old. After watching the speech therapist a few times and during a few sessions, I realized that I actually had more than enough opportunity to take care of the speech and language therapy at home without doing anything new. All I had to do was get very intentional about everything that I was already doing and not do it in silence. Hi, I'm Mal. Today I'm going to be showing you 7 things that you're already doing that could really help get your toddler talking. Repetition brings revelation. I was amazed at Danny's progress in just a short few weeks when I began doing this daily. The first thing is the wake up routine. I was very loud and proud and excited when I would go and get her out of her crib. I would go in and say, Hi, Danny, how are you? Did you sleep good? Did you sleep good? And I would give her a big hug. Remember, eye contact, let her see your mouth as you're talking, interact, wait for her to respond. Did you sleep good? Yeah? Yeah, you slept good. I missed you so much. Remember, this is something that you're going to be doing every single day. And in the beginning, when I began this, there was almost no interaction at all. But by the 4th or the 5th day, she started to anticipate. She would look at me with a big smile on her face. And I began to see that there was real interaction. And remember, my child was diagnosed with severe autism. It was originally as if there was no one home. And I began to see very quickly things begin to change. She used to anticipate what I was going to say, enjoy the embrace, knowing that it was coming next. Lots of things started to change, and then eventually she started to respond and initiate on her own. The next thing is brushing teeth. Every kid has to brush their teeth. You're going to be doing it anyway. And as I said, I always used to do everything in silence. But then I started to do this. I would grab her out of the crib and would say, Come, Danny, let's go brush teeth. And then I would take the toothbrush and I would say, squeeze toothpaste on, open, and then brush, brush, brush. As I'm brushing, say brush, 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 brush. Again, this is something that you're going to be doing every single day, twice a day at least. So, I mean, it's a great way to just interact, get eye contact, get her to initiate. She's going to start learning, or he's going to start learning, okay, open mouth, squeeze toothpaste. It really helps doing things again and again. And just because it's only once a day or twice a day, honestly, at the end of the first week or two, you're going to start to see things change. There's going to be anticipation for different things, and there'll be an engagement that wasn't there because you're actually talking about what you're doing and you're not just doing things in silence anymore. The next thing is dressing. I would say, Come, Danny, let's go pick our clothes. And then I would hold up 2 options. So, Danny, do you want to wear the pink dress? Or do you want to wear the yellow shirt? Now, remember, you're doing a few things there when you're doing that. You're doing speech, you're doing color recognition, and you're also initiating a response from her. She has to point. She has to either try and say the word yellow or pink dress. She has to initiate, point, show you which one it is. It's great for interaction. And then I would do the same for the rest of the clothing. Which pair of socks do you want to wear, Danny? The white ones or the butterfly? Look, Danny, blue butterfly. Which socks do you want to wear? And again, she has to point. And all this time, she's learning colors. She's learning clothing. She has to initiate a response. There's lots of things happening here. And then you do it again with, which shoes do you want to wear? Do you want to wear sandals, Danny? Do you want to wear your boots, Danny? Which shoes do you want to wear? Same thing. Talk about the color that you're holding. Talk about different options. Make her respond. Make him respond in a way that is going to interact with you. And talk about the texture. If Danny was wearing a pullover because it was really cold, I'd be like, Look, Danny, so soft. And I'd put it on her face, soft, so soft. pullover so soft. And you repeat those same words a few times so that repetition, as I said, repetition brings revelation. Just keep saying it. And then you can even compare it with something that's rough. I used to change her on the change table and there was always other things around. So I would grab something hard and be like, oh, look, hard. And then contrast it soft, so you do that to help them. Then the next thing, number 4, is breakfast. This is what I would do with Danny. I would always give her options. I would go like this: Danny, what do you want for breakfast today? Do you want banana pancakes or do you want eggs? And again, you're forcing her to interact with you. You're actually forcing her to either point or hopefully try and say something. And honestly, in the beginning, Danny didn't. She used to just gesture. But as you know, she was talking completely normally within 18 months. So these steps really, really worked for her. So, and then once she's made her choice, if it's eggs, I'd say, let's crack the egg. And then I would open the egg and then I'd give her the fork, hold it in my hand and say, stir, 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 stirring eggs, stirring eggs. Good job, Danny. Good job stirring eggs. Like that. And if it was banana and pancakes, then I would take the banana and say, peel banana, mash banana with a fork, take her hand, let her mash. I would even say, feel the banana. And then I would put the flour in, stir, stir, stir with her, stir, stir, stir. Again, repetition brings revelation. You'll be amazed at what these simple things actually do, how it helps your child. And then eat and say, yummy. This is delicious. Yummy. Pancakes, delicious. Eggs, delicious. And you can do this with whatever you're making, whatever you've decided to feed your child that day. Give them a choice. And obviously you have the final say because you're the one that's offering the choices to her. But she gets to pick one of the two because then you're forcing an interaction that was otherwise not there. The next thing is dishes. I don't care if you've got a dishwasher or not, there's always going to be dishes. So what I used to do, Danny wasn't walking in the beginning, I would put her in the high chair, put her in front of the dishwasher, open the dishwasher, I say, open. Do you want to help mommy dry dishes? And then I'd give her a drying cloth. And then I'd give her the plastic stuff, her plate, Tupperware, anything that you can't hurt herself. Say, dry the dish. And then as she's drying it, I'll be talking about what she's got. If it's a spoon, look, Danny drying spoon. Danny's drying a spoon. Good job, Danny. And then I would contrast things. While she's doing it, I'm also doing something. So maybe I've got a big spoon. I'll say, look, Danny, big spoon, dry, pack away, put it in, put inside. And then I'll take a small spoon, and then I'll show a big spoon, small spoon, dry, put it in, clean up, pack away. Use different variations of the words that they understand that those things actually mean the same thing. Bath time is another great time for fun and language development, and also just recognition of body parts and all sorts of things, because kids love water. Danny loved water. I can't say all kids love water. Maybe there are some kids that have had a bad experience and they don't like water, but Danny absolutely loved water. So I would put her in the water and then I would play and be like, washing tummy, tummy, and they'll say, where's your toes? And then I'd tickle her toes. Where's your feet? Tickle her feet. Say, wash arms, clean, lift under, wash under your arm, and you just make it really fun. And then ask her questions while you're doing it. Oh, Danny, where's your nose? Oh, here's your nose. Let's clean the nose. Oh, Danny, where's your ears? Oh, here's your ears. Clean under the ears, behind the ears. Clean. Talk about the water. Nice water, so warm. Look at the warm water. Look at the warm water. Feel the water. Then it's all done, Danny. Bath time all done. Come on, get out. Out, lift it out of the tub. Put it down. Dry. Drying feet. Dry hands. Dry tummy. Dry face. You talk everything that you're doing, you're talking to her in very short sentences so that she understands and she can put the two things together. Remember, you're doing these things every day. It made such a big impact on Danny's recovery. And then after bath, you're putting PJs on. Then you say, put it on, Danny. Put it on. Put PJs on, top on, pants on. And joyful when you're doing it. Don't, make her want to engage with you. And then at bedtime, it's come, Danny, let's pick a book to read before bed. Which book do you want? Let her choose the book. Put her in your lap. And don't feel like you have to read the whole thing. If your child's got a speech or language delay like mine did, or been diagnosed with autism, even if it's virtual autism, you got to keep things simple. Start like very foundational building blocks. I never used to read the whole book. It would be too complicated for her. I would turn the page and just talk about what was on the page. Look, boy kicking ball. Look, puppy. Where's the puppy, Danny? Let her point to the puppy. Because, my daughter couldn't point. She didn't do any of those things initially. But through doing these exercises that I'm sharing you, she started to do all of those things. Let her touch the thing. Let her feel it, especially if it's one of those touch-feel books that have different textures, and talk about what she's feeling, what she's seeing. Encourage her to engage. Ask her questions. Where's the car, Danny? Is this blue? No, this is a red ball. So encourage the engagement. Encourage all the time. Encourage. I really hope that you found this video helpful. These are tools that I used that made a huge impact on our daughter's life, and I'm trusting that it's going to have the same effect on your child. God bless. We'll see you next week.